Today on the newscast, a new report lists the most powerful countries in the world. Who's number one, and where does Israel fall on the list? Find out next. Hey folks, Erick Stakelbeck here. Welcome to the Watchman Newscast, a well-known publication called U.S. News and World Report. It's been around for a while, releases an annual list of what it regards as the world's most powerful countries. Now, the first few selections I don't think will surprise you very much, but you may be very surprised, pleasantly so, about where Israel fell on the list. Now, this involves obviously military, economic, and cultural impact. That's how U.S. News and World Report came up with these listings. We're going to break it down in a minute, what it all means. Before I do, I just want to encourage you to subscribe to the Watchman News channel right here on YouTube and click the notification bell so you get alerts every time a new video is posted. Hey, we had a banner year in 2022, passing 500,000 subscribers overall. And we hope that God will expand our territory even more in 2023 for such a time as this. We would love to have you come alongside us as watchmen and women on the wall, as subscribers to the channel. So be sure to check that out. Okay, let's dig into this list from U.S. News and World Report. Now, you may differ with some of these selections, no doubt, but it is a fascinating tally, needless to say. Number one, no big surprise here. The United States, listed as still the most powerful country in the world by U.S. News and World Report. Clearly still the world's most powerful military, economically as well, although there is a lot of concern here about a potential recession in 2023, inflation through the roof as well. And then the cultural impact, for better or for worse, some of the things coming out of Hollywood, Silicon Valley, and elsewhere, the U.S. still flexing a lot of cultural muscle around the world. But this report makes clear that it is a time of instability in the United States as well, a very dangerous time in the country where I am standing right now, no doubt. Nevertheless, the U.S. still in the top slot. Number two, U.S. News and World Report listed China. No surprise there. They did criticize China for its human rights record, or lack thereof, and rightfully so. It's a communist dictatorship that viciously persecutes political dissidents, Christians, and anyone that does not fall in line with its totalitarian rule. Nevertheless, they're listed as the second most powerful country in the world, and China clearly growing as a military powerhouse, as we've laid out here on the newscast, expanding their Navy, expanding their nuclear arsenal as well, in an attempt to challenge the United States for global supremacy. Number three, you may be a bit surprised to hear that Russia was listed as the number three most powerful country in the world. I say you may be a bit surprised because obviously Russia has struggled in this war with Ukraine that has now entered its 11th month in January 2023. So you would think that Russia's prestige undoubtedly has taken a blow as a result of the Ukraine war. Nonetheless, Russia still wields the world's largest arsenal of nuclear weapons. And that counts, to say the least, folks. That counts for a lot when it comes to power rankings, the largest nuclear stockpile. And then you still have Russia as an energy superpower. So regardless of Russia's struggles in Ukraine and its increasing international isolation, it's still got that nuclear and energy muscle that makes it a powerhouse. Now, the rest of the top 8 countries are pretty interesting and no big surprise, dominated by European and Asian countries. At number 4, we have Germany, which is Europe's largest economy, obviously. Number 5, we have Great Britain. Number 6, we have South Korea, which makes sense. Again, economic powerhouse, an ally of the West. Number 7, France. No surprise there. By the way, France, Great Britain also possess nuclear weapons, which is also a factor here. Number 8, Japan. Not a surprise. Number 9 is where things start to get really interesting and maybe even more relevant for our Watchman Newscast viewers, because things really start to turn to the east, to the Middle East in particular. Number 9 on this list is the UAE, the United Arab Emirates, obviously an economic powerhouse, trade, commerce powerhouse. And the factor here you have to think, folks, is the UAE joining the Abraham Accords with Israel, which brings us to number 10, the second Middle Eastern country on this list. Drum roll, please. You guessed it. Israel is ranked here in this U.S. News and World Report list as the world's 10th most powerful country. Not only that, the report lists Israel as having the world's 4th most powerful military, behind only the United States, China, and Russia. Folks, wow. I mean, what an accomplishment. Not that Israel needs the justification from U.S. News and World Report, or should I say the validation, to be recognized as a growing global power. But think about this. Israel is the size of the state of New Jersey, folks. It was only miraculously reborn in 1948, about 75 years ago, yet it has grown in stature and is just punching far above its weight in so many areas that it is now recognized as the 10th most powerful country in the world by one very influential and respected publication. And the 4th most powerful military, behind only China, Russia, and the U.S. You know, God told Moses that Israel would be the head of the nations and not the tail. That's laid out in Deuteronomy. And folks, I believe that we see Israel stepping into its prophetic destiny more and more in these prophetic Bible times in which we are living today. I expect Israel to only grow in stature for a few reasons. Number one, it is a booming scientific and high-tech powerhouse. You're going to continue to see amazing innovation out of Israel. There's a reason that Israel is called the innovation nation. I believe if there's a cure for cancer or Alzheimer's found in the next few years, it may very well be found in Israel. That's a kind of groundbreaking ingenuity that we see coming out of the Jewish state right now. Also, obviously, Israel's military on the cutting edge and strong. And also we have the natural gas factor, which we've talked about here on the Watchman Newscast. Israel has become a natural gas superpower. That is not an overstatement. In June 2022, Israel signed a deal with the European Union to supply it with natural gas. And as Europe continues to turn away from Russia, it will look for alternative sources of energy, and more it will look to Israel. So no doubt, Israel growing in stature despite its small geographic size. So I thought that was fascinating to see Israel listed in the top 10 most powerful nations in the world. And again, think of how young this nation is, folks. Hey, number 11, we're staying in the Middle East. Number 11 most influential on this list was Saudi Arabia, which may very well enter the Abraham Accords with Israel as well, perhaps as soon as this year. But one more thing to mention, number 17 was Turkey on this list. A NATO member, but under the radical rule of Recep Erdogan, I regard Turkey as NATO in name only. Nonetheless, the second largest army in NATO and a bridge between Europe and Asia, of course, an influential country, undeniable. Number 18 was Iran, which to me is a bit of a head scratcher in one regard. The Iranian economy is in tatters. The Iranian people are in the streets right now, God bless them, rebelling against this tyrannical regime. But I suppose U.S. News and World Report was considering Iran's historic stature, its drive for nuclear weapons, its growing military might in the region. But I thought that was interesting as well. Iran listed as the world's 18th most powerful country. So, folks, there you have it. I thought this was, again, a fascinating list. You probably have all sorts of opinions on it. I do too, but I wanted to lay it out there. I thought it was timely as we start the new year. This list was just released a few days ago by U.S. News and World Report. So leave some comments. What do you think? And again, God Almighty raises up nations, knocks nations down. He's on the throne. He's in control. Israel, and really no nation, needs the validation of a publication to say that they're a viable, powerful country. But again, it's always interesting to see these kinds of lists. So let me know what you think in the comments, and we will be back with you tomorrow here in the newscast. Thanks so much for joining us. God bless you until tomorrow. Remember, never hold your peace. Hey everyone, thanks for checking out the Watchman Newscast. If you enjoyed this episode and want to see more, make sure you go ahead and hit the like button, click subscribe, and tap the bell icon to turn on notifications for new Watchman Newscast episodes every weekday.